What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into an episode number 827. I was fumbling over my own tongue. It's episode number 827 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. KB coming at you solo dolo here. Apologies for the episode upload delay. Got back from PLL and WLL Championship Series. Had some things to attend to, and catching up on sleep was one of them. But I think it's smart that I waited, because now we get to talk about NFL free agency. We get to talk about Jesús Luzardo re-signing with a contract extension. We can talk some WBC as well, and just some other odds and ends around the Underground. But before we get into everything here on the show, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. It really helps when you follow us. Gets us in the algorithm more, helps us bring new audiences to the show. So please follow us at Underground PHI. We got a big year planned, and you don't want to miss out on all the fun. So please follow us on the socials. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. It helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, plus all of our podcasts here on the Underground Industries Podcast Network. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. I'm working on being more consistent, getting some more clips uploaded, and doing some fun stuff, because we got some good clips, we got some good stuff coming, and we want to grow this channel. We want to make it the biggest and best hub for Philly sports in the game, so please follow us and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video, drop a comment in the comment section, and click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. We're at 1,259 subscribers. Can we get to 1,300 before the end of March? Let's make that happen. youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland, guys. The city of Vineland, my hometown, and the city of Vineland municipal calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the city of Vineland on their social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and you can stay connected with events, and you can, through these socials, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. I lost my place on the ad read there and was about to start reading the same line again. But Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
Hello, I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. Vineland, New Jersey offers both a great business location and an outstanding quality of life. But don't just take my word for it, the experts agree. We're proud to be recognized as a premier food processing and logistics hub, one of New Jersey's most affordable and desirable cities, and one of the best places to retire in the country. Visit vinelandcity.org and see how our resources can work for you. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Let's get into it. NFL free agency is underway, and my oh my, has it been quite eventful in a number of ways, and the Philadelphia Eagles have lost a number of players, a number of Super Bowl champions, and a quick fan favorite that was here for what amounts to be a cup of coffee, unfortunately. NFL free agency is such a fascinating time just because anything that you expect to happen will not happen. That's just a fact. Like you can manifest everything for your favorite team, and by the time the free agency window opens, boom, it's not happening, pal. The Philadelphia Eagles have lost 4 players since the free agency window opened. And since we last spoke, the Eagles have also re-signed somebody in a big way, which we'll also talk about in this segment. But players departing the Philadelphia Eagles include Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, and Jahan Dotson. It's a bummer on all 4 fronts. And I say all 4, yes, all 4. Nakobe Dean is somebody who felt like a lifeblood of this Eagles team for a very, very long time. He's signing a 3-year, $36 million deal with $20 million guaranteed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Financially, obviously, Nakobe wasn't going to be here more than likely unless some crazy miracle happened, because you have Zach Bond signed under contract and you drafted Jahad Campbell last year. But Nakobe is kind of just like he felt like an Eagle, and he was part of that Philly Dogs core of the Georgia Bulldogs defense coming to Philadelphia. It was him and Jalen Carter. No, him and Jordan Davis. Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter were the same year. But it was those guys, they were the foundation pieces of the Philly Dogs, like, moniker of building that just not even building, like, foundationally speaking, the Georgia Bulldogs, like, draft onslaught for Howie Roseman and company really shaped what this Eagles defense has become. You drafted Jordan Davis, you draft Nakobe Dean, you get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Say what you want about Keely Ringo and his abilities on defense, but, has been a valuable special teamer. And, you've built your defensive core with those guys as a nucleus. You had Brandon Graham here, obviously, but, you go and get Zach Bond and add him to the mix. You had, CJ GJ brought in here for 2 years with those guys. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell added to that mix. Reed Blankenship, who we'll talk about, was a part of that kind of defensive overhaul. And, I think without Howie kind of going against his Florida alumnus ways and going and drafting those Philly Dogs, we're sitting here talking about a different Eagles defense and defensive mentality than we were, 4 or 5 years ago. It's crazy to think about, but I genuinely believe that in my heart of hearts, that the decision to go down the path of just saying, hey, let's draft a championship level defense and get as many guys on that Georgia Bulldogs defense together really shaped what this defensive philosophy is for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you add Vic Fangio into that mix and his defensive prowess. It's a recipe for success time and time again. Nakobe felt like a leader, not only on the field, but off the field. Really just, I saw Tim McManus brought up that he had a lot of, D'Amico Ryans in him, and that's a great comparison. He felt like a new era D'Amico Ryans. I'm really going to miss Nakobe. He put it all out there was a bum. He worked his tail off to get back for this past season. It was a bummer he couldn't play in the Super Bowl, but guess what? He's a champion forever in this city. I'm gonna miss the hell out of Nakobe Dean, and I remember when he was drafted in 2022, and it was one of those things that I was like sitting watching the draft. I was actually hanging out with a friend of the program, former Super Bowl champion, Jamil Demby. We were at his, what event was that? We were at an event for Jamil. Oh, he got the key to the city. He got the key to the city of Vineland. And we were at an event after, and it was, during the NFL draft time. And Nakobe Dean kept falling in the draft. Just kept falling in the draft. And I was like, the Eagles need to take Nakobe Dean. They need a linebacker like him. And I know he had the injury issues coming out of college, but I was like, they need to draft Nakobe Dean. And then, boom, third round comes, and there it was. Nakobe Dean drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm very pumped for him. He deserves the payday, and I hope he balls out with the Vegas Raiders. Vegas is getting a good one. I'm going to miss Nakobe a lot and wish him nothing but the best in his next chapter. I did love that allegedly the Dallas Cowboys offered Nakobe Dean a similar contract, but Nakobe chose to go with his gut, was the quote used, and signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of rumors were out there that Nakobe could go with Christian Parker and go to the Cowboys and be part of that defense, but I love that Nakobe kind of stayed loyal and said, nah, not doing that Dallas thing, and went to the AFC no less. So I love that he turned down the Cowboys, because that just shows you the loyalty in free agency. He said, you know what, I'm going to go get my bag, and I'm not going to do my former team dirty. And Nakobe goes to the Raiders rather than the Cowboys, and hits us with one final go Birds on his way out. So cheers to Nakobe Dean. Wishing you nothing but the best in Vegas, my friend. Unless you're playing the Eagles. Then I hope you don't do well, but outside of that, go kick ass, go take names, and get some sacks on Patrick Mahomes twice a year. The next free agent departing, Jahan Dotson, is headed to the Atlanta Falcons. Jahan Dotson, a very controversial Eagles player, simply because people thought he was that the Eagles overpaid for him, and quite frankly, I don't think they did, and I know he wasn't exactly what you wanted from a wide receiver 3 in terms of, numbers and statistics, but Jahan Dotson was very much as part of that Eagles wide receiver core as A.J. Brown, as Devontae Smith. Even though the stats didn't reflect it, he was a vital part of this team. He fit in with this team. This is the team he grew up rooting for. He's a Newark, New Jersey native. He went to Penn State, grew up an Eagles fan, and he got to win a Super Bowl with his hometown team. Not many guys can say that they have done that, and Jahan Dotson can. I think while he was very underutilized here, I think him going to the Atlanta Falcons on a 2-year deal for worth up to $17 million, baseline's $15 million. It also includes $10 million fully guaranteed. I'm happy for Jahan. I think this is a great move for him, and I know the Falcons ended up signing Tua today after he's getting released, and they still have Michael Penix there, but I think Jahan Dotson's a perfect complement to Drake London. And I think when you compare Jahan with a wide receiver like Drake London and kind of be on the outside and give him a chance to be a wide receiver 2 in an offense, I'm intrigued. I like this for him. I think it's going to give him a lot more opportunity to go and be great. And I just think the Eagles, in their offensive scheme, since they acquired Jahan, they never really utilized the slot receiver. For what reasons, I will probably never know. But it is one of those things that I wish the Eagles would have utilized him more, because I do think he's a very talented wide receiver. And at the end of the day, he won a Super Bowl with us and had a massive catch in the Super Bowl that led us to a Super Bowl tush-push. And Commanders fans are still ringless in this century. So I think that's a win. I'm going to miss Jahan. I liked his energy. I liked him as a player. And the only thing I didn't like about him was when he changed from number 83 to number 2. Thought that was a jersey downgrade. Simply because I don't think wide receivers should be wearing single-digit numbers, with very, very few exceptions, like Devontae Smith wearing number 6. But Jahan to the Falcons is going to be awesome. I think no matter who the quarterback is, I think he's going to get utilized, and I think he's going to really thrive down at Atlanta. And I think Atlanta got a winner, and I'm excited to see him in his next role. Did the Eagles play the Falcons this year? 2026? I don't think they do. I'm blanking on what the Eagles' schedule is this year. No, they do not. The Eagles play the NFC West. NFC West schedule. That's a bummer. At least we know the Cardinals are going to stink. But yeah. Jahan Dotson headed to the Falcons on a 2-year, $15 million deal worth up to $17 million. Could be $17 million with those incentives. Best of luck, Jahan, and forever a champ. The next departure, Jalen Phillips, a guy I really, really loved, man. Jalen Phillips gets the largest non-quarterback unrestricted free agent deal ever. He's signing a 4-year, $120 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. This contract, man. Whoo-wee! I do not know where or how the Panthers have all this money. $30 million a year for Jalen Phillips is quite the contract. Quite the contract. The Eagles obviously had interest in bringing him back, but they had a walk-away number, and I'm glad they walked away because, holy cow, I did not expect a $30 million per year contract for Jalen Phillips. And that's no slight to him. I'm thrilled he's getting his bag because he balled out as soon as he came to the Eagles. And he was great in Miami, too, outside of, getting injured. But that's the risk here. That's the risk, is Jalen Phillips has extensive injury an extensive injury history. Achilles, ACL. He's 26 years old. When does he turn 27? He turns 27 in a couple months. So it'll be his age 27 season. He'll be a free agent again when he's 31. $30 million is steep. These contracts, and like Jalen's not the only one with a huge contract this offseason during this free agency window that opened today on Monday. But man, like I'm glad Howie Roseman has not been in the mix in this free agency window, because these contracts are crazy, everybody. They are crazy. It's one of those things, like, you can't knock Jalen Phillips for getting that contract, but it's also a bummer because you're losing a key part of the defense that I think a lot of people, myself included, thought the Eagles were going to re-sign him. But when you're getting $30 million a year instead of, $20, $21, $22 million a year, that's a huge difference and prevents the Eagles from extending somebody like Jalen Carter. It prevents them from extending somebody like Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. Like, you got to have the money available to extend those guys. And quite frankly, Jalen Phillips just getting that type of money does not fall into that equation whatsoever. So I cannot blame Howie Roseman for walking away at that number. Carolina got a dog so long as he stays healthy. You know, and I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he has, continued success in Carolina, except when the Eagles play them this year. But man, $30 million a year for Jalen Phillips was kind of like a sticker shock price when I saw that came through as an official signing. I couldn't believe the Panthers dished out that type of money for someone like Jalen Phillips. And that's not a knock on him. It's just like, you look at some of the other premier pass rushers in the game, like, let me take a look to just kind of compare here. Myles Garrett and his contract. Myles Garrett is 30 years old. And he signed a 4-year, $160 million extension with the Browns this time last year. So Myles Garrett got $40 million more than Jalen Phillips. Now, everyone watching, listening, do a little compare and contrast here. Where do you rank Jalen Phillips on the S to F tier, where Myles Garrett is the S tier of premier pass rushers in the NFL? I would say Jalen's kind of like B tier, maybe A tier. $40 million only being the difference in contract between those two, though, is bonkers. And I know the guarantees and everything kind of change everything, but holy cow, that's crazy to think about. What is someone like TJ Watt? Same thing. July of last year, TJ Watt signed a 3-year, $123 million extension with the Steelers, running through 2027. I think Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are like the top 2 pass rushers in the NFL. Jalen Phillips is getting that type of money now. Whoo! That's spicy. That is spicy for sure. Man, that's a big contract. But Panthers fans, you're getting an absolute beast. I love Jalen Phillips' game. I just, I'm happy Howie Roseman walked away with that number being on the table and allowed Jalen to go get paid. You know what I mean? And it's a bummer we couldn't, go and win for Jalen Phillips when you go and acquire him. But it's, them's be the breaks, as they say. So best of luck to Jalen Phillips as he heads to Carolina. The final free agent that is moving on from the Philadelphia Eagles. This one I think hurts the most. I don't understand why people have soured on Reed Blankenship just because he had one down season last year. Do we not forget that he was an undrafted free agent in 2022? Came in. This man was wearing number 46, okay? That's where he stood in just like the pantheon of like Eagles players on the field. He was wearing number 46 actively until he switched to 32. Reed Blankenship, man. You don't get named a captain in the Philadelphia Eagles organization for nothing. Okay? That's something I have noticed over the years. Like, no matter who the player is, let me see if I can pull up a list here. Eagles captains year by year. Let's see. The history of Eagles captains. Can I find a list? Let's go back to 2024. Let's go back to the Super Bowl season. Captains for the Eagles. Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts, Brandon Graham, Jordan Mailata, Jake Elliott, A.J. Brown, Darius Slay. 2025. Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Jake Elliott, A.J. Brown, Jordan Mailata, Saquon Barkley, Zach Bond, Reed Blankenship. Obviously, Brandon Graham had retired prior to the season. Otherwise, I think he also would have been a captain. But you don't get named a captain for nothing in this organization. Okay? That's just how this organization runs, at least optically to me. Like, that's how things go. Like, you are not you're not just named a captain for the sake of just putting the C on your chest. 2023, looking at the team captains. A.J. Brown, Fletcher Cox, Jake Elliott, Brandon Graham, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Devontae Smith, Darius Slay. Like, you have to be someone that everyone within those walls of the Philadelphia Eagles organization respects. And Reed Blankenship wore a C last year. To me, that speaks volumes of not only the person Reed Blankenship is, not only the player he is, but the leadership qualities that he possesses. And the fact that we're like souring on a guy who is truly what you want as a success story as a franchise, where you signed a UDFA and he became a captain and a starter in the Super Bowl for you, like that's a rare occurrence in the NFL. That doesn't happen for every team every year. Like, that's not the case. Most UDFAs don't even make it out of training camp. And Reed Blankenship stuck around for 4 years, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Won a Super Bowl, was a starter in the Super Bowl. Wore a C for this team for a year. That, to me, just speaks volumes about just the total package that Reed Blankenship is. And I'll never slander Reed Blankenship. Had that clutch gene. You know, there were moments where, you know, you knew you needed a play, and boom, Reed Blankenship, interception, game sealer. This defense, and I think this defensive locker room, is going to miss Reed Blankenship's presence. He's signing a 3-year, $24.75 million deal with the Texans. The exciting Whites are no more. I'm happy for Reed, man. To go from a UDFA to making $25 million on a 3-year deal is the dream. You know, you look at what he was making in Philadelphia as a UDFA. 3 years, $2.565 million. His average base salary was $855,000. And then 2024-2025, he signed his rookie extension, $3.575 million. And now he's getting $24.7. He's going to make $8.25 million a year for the next 3 years. And he's going to be a free agent again at age 30. And probably get another quality contract. Like, that's awesome for Reed Blankenship. Coming out of Middle Tennessee State as an undrafted free agent. Just turned 27. He's a hard-nosed leader in a locker room. The Texans got a good one. I think he's going to be great with D'Amico Ryans on that defense. And I think the Eagles are going to miss him. I think that's going to be one of the ones we look at, and I'm sure, you know, I'm excited about Andrew Makuba coming back from his injury, but now the Eagles need a safety. You know, they are very safetyless. I know they restructured Michael Carter II's contract. I don't know if he's the answer. So you're going to have Drew Makuba back there, but you also need another safety. And, you know, looking at the safety market, it's not great. You know, Kevin Byard's an unrestricted free agent, but I think he's too similar to Drew Makuba in a way. Oof, Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets. Kyle Duggar, like Malik Hooker is back with the Cowboys. Jimmy Ward is now probably on the outside looking in, coming out off the Texans. Taylor Rapp is an interesting name. It's not all that great in the safety market. Jaquan Brisker is out there. Yeah, I mean, CJGJ. Yeah, it's not a good safety market. I mean, the Eagles are definitely going to have to draft a safety, that's for sure. And see what, kind of plays out now, because you've got some work to do here, Howie. You've got some work to do. And, they did some work. They did do some work. Jordan Davis is back. They signed Jordan Davis to a 3-year, $78 million contract extension on Saturday, making him the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history. $65 million in guaranteed money, average annual salary of $26 million. I like this. I like this a lot. I like Jordan Davis. He's a great locker room guy. He's a perfect culture fit for this team. He was the first Georgia Bulldog to be a Philadelphia Eagle and really showed, I think, his stripes of what he can be after this past season. And I think this is a huge win for the Eagles to get Jordan Davis for 3 more years. He's a culture guy. He is a culture guy. And when you look at a guy who is in his prime, he's 26 years old. When does he turn 27? Let's see. Won't turn 27 until January, so he's in his age 26 season. I think this is a slam dunk re-signing, an extension for the Eagles. And Jordan Davis, I think, is just getting started. I think he's really discovered what he's capable of. And we're going to really look at this contract in a year or two and be like, wow, that was smart thinking by Howie Roseman. I think this is such a huge win for the Eagles. It's big. It's big. And now you have some other spots you got to fill. You got to get a safety. You got to get another corner. You got to get a wide receiver 3 in the mix, because I don't even think there's one that's viable on the roster. You have Darius Cooper, but I would like better. Johnny Wilson will be back. I think he's more of a blocking receiver. Definitely got to get a wide receiver in the mix here. Who are some free agent wide receivers? Some free agent wide receivers the Eagles could look at. Darnell Mooney. Khalif Raymond. Kendrick Bourne is signing with the Cardinals. I wouldn't mind Olamide Zaccheaus being back. I'll tell you that much. else is out? I mean, realistically, the Eagles are going to draft one. Romeo Doubs is somebody that I think would fit, obviously, with Sean Mannion coming in as your offensive coordinator. Romeo Doubs is somebody that I'm keeping an eye on. That's for sure. For sure. Romeo Doubs, maybe like a Tutu Atwell. Wouldn't hate that. But I genuinely think the Eagles will be drafting a wide receiver at some point in this draft with the draft picks that they have. So I'm not overly concerned there. But Howie's got his work cut out for him this offseason, I think. Last offseason wasn't his brightest, which is fine. You're not going to have slam dunk offseasons year after year after year. But it makes this offseason that much more important. And it makes things for this team that much more important. And I think when you look at who's departing, when you look at where guys are signing now, it's been a wild start to free agency, man. It's been a wild start. Alec Pierce is going back to the Colts. Crazy, crazy contract. $114 million for Alec Pierce. Odafe Owe is going from the Chargers to the Commanders for $100 million over 4 years. Tyler Linderbaum, is going to the Raiders from the Ravens. So they essentially traded Max Crosby for Linderbaum. 3 years, $81 million. Wandale Robinson got a 4-year, $78 million contract from the Titans. Malik Willis is going to the Dolphins for 3 years, $67.5 million. John Franklin Myers is going to the Titans for $63 million over 3 years. David Edwards, offensive lineman, going from the Bills to the Saints for $61 million. Alante Taylor going from the Saints to the Titans for $60 million. Boye Mafe going from the Seahawks to the Bengals for $60 million over 3 years. Travis Etienne leaving the Jaguars to go to the Saints, 4 years, $52 million. Rashid Shaheed is going back to the Seahawks, 3 years, $51 million. Jalen Watson is leaving the Chiefs to go to the Rams for $51 million. Zion Johnson is going to the Browns, 3 years, $49.5 million. Kwity Paye going from the Colts to the Raiders for $48 million over 3 years. Cordell Flott is going to the Titans from the Giants, 3 years, $45 million. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, little over $43 million for 3 years from the Seahawks to the Chiefs. Mike Evans is going to the 49ers, $42.4 million over 3 years. Quay Walker from the Packers to the Raiders, $40.5 million for 3 years. Brian Cook from the Chiefs to the Bengals, $40.25 million. Isaiah Likely from the Ravens to the Giants, 3 years, $40 million. Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks to the Bears, 3 years, $40 million. I mean, it's been great. Jalen Naylor, 3 years, $35 million as a wide receiver from the Vikings to the Raiders. Isaac Seumalo, former Eagle, going from the Steelers to the Cardinals, 3 years, $31.5 million. Tyler Biadasz, going from the Commanders to the Chargers, 3 years, $30 million. It's been a crazy, crazy free agency so far. Like, Alex Anzalone, I think that's a steal for the Buccaneers. 2 years, $17 million for him. Alex Singleton going back to the Broncos. Kenneth Gainwell, 2 years, $14 million to the Buccaneers. Travis Kelce's back with the Chiefs. Case Keenum is still in the league. Wow, good for him. Like, there's been some crazy contracts thrown out this NFL free agency so far. And it's like, you look at who's still available. Tyreek Hill, Trey Hendrickson, Jawan Taylor, Taylor Decker, Marshawn Lattimore, but I think he's washed. Trayvon Diggs, I think he's washed. Christian Kirk, Deebo Samuel, Braden Smith, Elgton Jenkins just got released today. Jonah Williams, Joel Bitonio, Dalvin Tomlinson, Kyle Duggar, Wyatt Teller, Hassan Reddick, David Njoku, Darnell Mooney, Jonnu Smith, DJ Reader, Jimmy Ward, Dre Greenlaw got released today. That's a fun name. Tua was released and he's signing with the Falcons. Leonard Floyd, Bobby Okereke, De'Ami Brown, Tutu Atwell, Dallas Goedert still a free agent. Mekhi Becton, Joe Mixon, Kevin Byard, Curtis Samuel, Daquan Jones, Hollywood Brown, Larry Ogunjobi, Sebastian Joseph, Matt Milano, Evan Neal, AJ Epineza, Dante Fowler Jr., Alex Kappa, Khalif Raymond, like we mentioned, DeAndre Hopkins, who I can't believe is only 33 still. Will Dissly is a name that I'm looking at with the Eagles as well. Kyle Van Noy, Shelby Harris, Foster Moreau, Derek Barnett. There's still a lot of quality free agents out there, but these contracts that are getting thrown around have me absolutely quaking in my boots, and I have no idea what to make of what's to come, but it's going to be a crazy next couple of days, next couple of weeks, honestly, with NFL free agency. But a tip of the cap to all the new signees with their teams, and a tip of the cap to Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Jahan Dotson, and Jalen Phillips. And our tip of the cap is brought to you by our friends over at 47. Guys, you can see it right now. I'm wearing my 47 Eagles hat. Just a beauty. Matches the sweater. How we doing? Got to look styling and profiling when I'm on the camera for the pod. We love 47. They are truly the best in the game. I'm rocking 47 all the time. I was down at PLL Championship Series all week. I was wearing 47 brand the entire time. There's no better way to rep your favorite sports team than with 47 brand. They've got their St. Patrick's Day collection available now. Brand new MLS collection. They've got some sweet Union hats in there. The brand new frame out collection for your favorite Major League Baseball teams. They've got their new collab with New Balance as well. There's no better way to rep your favorite sports team than with our friends at 47. Use our link in the description, shop with 47, and when you join the 47 family, you get free shipping on all orders with our friends at 47. Who doesn't like free? If it's free, it's for me. Use our link in the description, shop with 47, rep your favorite sports teams, and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. And we thank 47 for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia and the unofficial official headwear partner of Underground Industries. Moving to more extensions. News broke today with the Philadelphia Phillies that Jesús Luzardo was signing his extension that we were all waiting to come through. Jesús Luzardo and the Phillies agreed to a $135 million 5-year extension through 2031. I couldn't be happier, man. I could not be happier that Jesus Lizard is back. This is just so big for the team, the rotation, like not only for the now, but moving forward. You look at this rotation for the next 4 years. Christopher Sanchez, Jesús Luzardo, Andrew Painter, Aaron Nola. We'll see what Zach Wheeler is looking like. I know he spoke about his contract situation. It's still kind of fluid, but at least for the next 4 years, you're going to have the first four guys I mentioned. Sanchez, Luzardo, Painter, Nola. That is still one of the best rotations in baseball in 2026, in 2027, if the season happens, 2028, 2029, and 2030. That's fucking awesome. Like, I don't think we as Phillies fans, I know I appreciate it, but I think as the general populace of Phillies fans, we don't appreciate enough how good we have it when it comes to our starting pitching right now. Our starting pitching is one of, if not the best rotations in all of baseball since 2025 overall, because when we got Luzardo into the mix. Obviously, you lose Ranger Suarez, but guess what? You still have an elite rotation. Andrew Painter has looked awesome in spring training. We're not appreciating enough the starting pitching that we have going for this team right now. From Christopher Sanchez evolving into one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, to Jesus Luzardo outside of a blip on the radar having a Cy Young caliber season, Aaron Nola being one of the most steady Eddie pitchers since he got called up in 2015, Andrew Painter being kind of the wonder boy of the rotation, and then when Zach Wheeler is back, we're going to have our ace. Like, that's our guy. One of the greatest Phillies pitchers in Phillies history. You've got a dream rotation. We need to appreciate it more. Like, I want you to take your appreciation levels for this rotation and amplify it 100x. Think about other teams in their rotations. They would kill to have Jesus Luzardo as their number 1. When we're healthy, Jesus Luzardo's our number 3. Think about that. Like, think about how special this rotation is. I said it last year all season long. This was the best rotation since the 4 aces. And that was obviously a lot of Hall of Fame talent. Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Roy Oswalt, Cole Hamels, Joe Blanton, Vance Worley. Like, and I know Vance Worley's still pitching in the WBC, so guess what? That's a Hall of Fame talent to me. You can come off the couch and go boom for Great Britain. That rotation, those big 4 in particular, and Joe Blanton, obviously, you cannot undersell how valuable he was when he was a Philly. Like, that was the best rotation we've ever seen. Last year and this year, with the returning pieces and the expectations for Andrew Painter, are damn near close to what we saw during the heyday of 07 to 11. When every 5th day you're going Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo, Nola, Painter, and last year sub out Painter for Ranger Suarez, like, we have the starting pitching and the bullpen to carry us as far as we want to go. And Luzardo's going to be here for 5 more years. He's 28 years old. And he's making $27 million a year. He's not going to turn 29 until September. He's making $27 million a year. He was going to be a free agent next year. I guarantee he gets $32 million plus if he has a great year this year on the open market. So for the Phillies to get Luzardo for $27 million per, get him under contract, he's not going anywhere, and that's a big part of why we didn't re-sign Ranger Suarez, unfortunately. But this is a great contract, man. This is an awesome contract. The new deal begins in 2027, so he'll play out the rest of this, and then the new deal kicks in 2027. He's one of the highest-paid left-handed pitchers in baseball, which is awesome, because for a long time the Phillies had no lefties in their rotation. I'm super, super stoked that we are going to have Jesus Luzardo in the mix for the next 5 years. Thinking about a rotation of Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, and Andrew Painter as your top 3 for what will be the considerable few years of the future and the now, along with Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, teams would kill to have one of those guys, let alone all 5. I'm glad Jesus Luzardo's staying home. I'm glad Jesus Luzardo signed a very awesome contract for both him and the organization. And I'm glad he's going to be wearing Phillies pinstripes for the next 5 years. 6 years, really. You know, the extension doesn't start until 2027. I'm pumped, man. This is what we yearned for such a long time. And we're living in some golden times for the Philadelphia Phillies, especially from a pitching perspective. And what we have seen from Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford in spring training so far, what we've been seeing from our guy Dante Nori in the World Baseball Classic has been magnificent. And, you know, Kyle Schwarber's hitting moonshots for Team USA, and, you know, Bryce Harper, kind of been in a little bit of a lull here at the WBC, but I'm not all too concerned. I'm sure he'll figure some things out, but I'm the more and more I'm watching this team, you know, the more and more I'm getting excited for March 26th, which by the time you guys are listening to this is 16 days away. 16 days away from opening day. I'm so excited. Can we get an extended forecast look? Can we get a weather watch? Let's get a weather watch. Next 14 days, let's say, to March 26th. 2-week extended. Yeah, we gonna need it to warm up a little bit. We can't have this heavy rain that week of opening day, ladies and gents. We can't have that happening. We need that weather to clear up, okay? We need that weather to clear up. We need a nice, warm opening day. You understand me, weather people? Do you understand me? I cannot have rain and cold and all that nonsense happening. We need to stay warm. We cannot be getting cold. Why is next Tuesday going to be a high of 35? I'm tired of that. It's supposed to be warm. Warm up. I'm not saying it's got to be like 80 degrees. But it's got to be a lot warmer than 35. I'll tell you that much. But I'm stoked about Jesus Luzardo. You all should be stoked about Jesus Luzardo, and there's no better way to celebrate being stoked than with our friends at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Maryland, and Delaware areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores, convenience stores, and grocery stores in those markets. Just use the Kenny Finder to see who's got it available in your area. Must be 21 or older to do so. And as always, guys, please celebrate and drink responsibly. No better way to celebrate an extension of a key player on your team than with Kenwood Beer. Some WBC discussion here, but before I get into that, I want to talk to you guys about our friends over at Biñho. Guys, Biñho is the next big tabletop game for your man cave, your she shed, your tailgates, your parties. You break out the Biñho board, you're going to be the talk of your event. Biñho is dropping some sweet, sweet boards. They've got the World Cup collection available for pre-order right now. You can shop the collection. You get $10 off and free set of World Collection themed bands with every pre-order that look absolutely magnificent. It's paper football meets foosball for your next big tabletop flicking experience. Use our link in the description. shop with our friends at Biñho. Get your officially licensed boards. Get your Philadelphia Union boards. Get the Diamond Stripes edition, the Circle Stripes. Get your World Cup pre-orders in. The Mexico boards look sweet. Got the entire world collection. U.S. soccer, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Spain, Croatia, France, England, the Netherlands, Germany, Portugal, Canada, Algeria, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Cabo Verde. The Cabo Verde one is sick. Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, Curacao, Ecuador, Egypt, Ghana, Haiti, Iran, and Japan. And on top of that, they've also got Jordan, Morocco, New Zealand, Norway. The Norway one is awesome. Panama, Paraguay, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Scotland, Senegal, South Africa, South Korea. The South Korea one is beautiful. Switzerland, Tunisia, Uruguay, and Uzbekistan. Use our link in the description to shop with Biñho and get 10% off your entire order when you use code BiñhoBennett62 at checkout. Use our link in the description. Shop with Biñho. Get your World Cup boards for pre-order now. The 2026 World Collection now available for pre-order. Get 10% off with code BiñhoBennett62 at checkout. And we thank Biñho for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. The World Baseball Classic. Team USA get another dub tonight against Mexico. Final score 5-3. Paul Skeens pitched in this one for Team USA. Went 4 innings, got the win. Gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Garrett Clevenger pitched a scoreless inning with a strikeout. Matt Boyd gave up all the damage in 2 1/3 innings. Griffin Jacks came in, and Garrett Whitlock closed things out for Team USA. It got dicey. Jarren Duran was making things interesting in that 6th inning. The 8th inning, they tack on another run, does Mexico, but Team USA's 5-piece in that 3rd inning was just enough to get the job done. Aaron Judge homered in this one, scored Bryce Harper. Cal Raleigh struck out with the bases loaded, which was tough. But Aaron Judge with that 2-run home run. Roman Anthony homered, scored Kyle Schwarber and Cal Raleigh. Those were the runs there. Jarren Duran homered. Then he homered again. And then Jonathan Aranda struck out with a runner on. Alejandro Kirk grounded into a double play. Alejandro Osuna struck out swinging. And then Julian Ornelas struck out swinging to end the game pretty much. Was Duran's homer a... How did they get their 2nd run? Mexico scoring. Here we go. Joey Meneses, former Iron Pig legend, singled on a ground ball deflected by Bryce Terang. Jonathan Aranda scored. So that's how they got the 2nd run. Jarren Duran had 2 homers. But Team USA improved to 3-0 in group play. And now I believe we continue group play. Team USA will play Italy on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Dante Nori. Canada will play Puerto Rico. Israel will play the Netherlands. And Japan will play Czechia on Tuesday. And then the final bits of group play will be Canada and Cuba, Italy and Mexico, and the Dominican Republic and Venezuela. That is going to be spicy. Other games that happened on Monday in group play. Korea beat Australia 7-2. Dominican Republic absolutely pummeled Israel 10-1. Colombia with a 4-3 win over Panama. Great Britain beat Brazil 8-1. Puerto Rico take down Cuba 4-1. Venezuela with the win over Nicaragua 4-0. And then Team USA beat Mexico 5-3. WBC is fun, man. The passion and the energy that those guys are showing on most of the teams, it's just perfect. It's one of those things that I just love. I love the World Baseball Classic. It's just such an awesome event. I love that it's every 3 years, and I'm hoping that it'll parlay into Team USA and the other nations being able to play in the Olympics with Major League Baseball players, because that would be sick to have them at the Olympics, especially when I am hoping to be there for 2028. So a lot of fun stuff to look forward to. NFL free agency's underway. The Flyers and Sixers are shells of themselves. The Phillies are so close. Can't wait to be at the ballpark. And a lot of things to look forward to upcoming, man. There's a lot of stuff we've got coming that I can't wait to talk about. I've been plotting and scheming here in the underground with a lot of things that I can't wait to share with you guys. We had a very successful PLL and WLL Championship Series trip. Got a lot of fun interviews. We had Phillies' own Austin Kaut win the title. He was on the show with us. That'll be on the Outside the Box podcast later this week. And a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff coming. I can't wait. But thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. It really helps the show continue to grow when you follow us. So please follow us: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on every social platform. Follow us. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps the show when you guys subscribe and leave those reviews. So please subscribe. Please rate and review 5 stars. Leave a 5-star rating and comment on Spotify. And please subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. We are at 1,259 subscribers. I want to hit 1,300 before the end of the month. We've got a big March Madness coming up. We've got a whole lot of stuff with Philly season. You don't want to miss out on the content, so please subscribe. youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And as you all know, this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you are considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. A big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 827 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. My headphone just popped out. I was wondering what was going on there. Couldn't hear anything. Don't know what's going on. But this has been episode number 827 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. I'll be back talking to you guys on Thursday. NFL free agency, more Phillies news. If you or someone you know should be a guest on this show to talk Philly sports, let me know. Tag them in the comments on YouTube. Leave a podcast review with it. Tag us on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. I'm working on creating a form because I do want to get a more permanent co-host for this show in particular. Whether it's just once a week or both shows that we do, I do want to work on building out this show a lot more, and having more than just myself. You know, I like talking to you guys one-on-one, but sometimes I need someone to bounce things off of and have some fun with. So let me know if you or someone you know would be interested in sitting in the second chair here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'll be making a form that'll be out all over the place pretty soon, so want to hopefully get that done within the next month. But yeah, I want to have somebody to bounce things off of and just banter with on Mondays and Thursdays when the episodes drop. So we'd be recording on Sundays and Wednesdays. So if you think you fit that bill, I want you. But yeah, this has been episode number 827 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. I'll catch you all on Thursday again, seeing what the hell is going on in Philadelphia sports. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.